Modern worship often feels like a transaction. We build mountains of gold, craft diamond-studded crowns, and offer vast fortunes, assuming the divine measures devotion by weight. But the sovereign of the gods operates on entirely different rules. Lord Shiva is the supreme ascetic. He meditates in the freezing Himalayan snow, coats his skin in graveyard ash, and treats the greatest treasures on earth as dust. So how do you make an offering to a god who desires absolutely nothing? You give him this, a small, three-pronged leaf from a wild plant found growing in ordinary backyards, the Bel Patra. To understand why a handful of wild leaves outranks all the gold in heaven, we have to look back to a moment when the fabric of reality began to tear itself apart. According to the Puranas, gods and demons once joined forces to churn the cosmic ocean, searching for the nectar of immortality. But before they found life, they unearthed death. The ocean spat out Halahal, a highly concentrated poison radiating a heat so intense it began to melt the atmosphere. The gods were paralyzed as the skies turned black and the oceans began to boil. To save creation from an agonizing end, Shiva stepped forward. He captured the boiling toxins in his palms and drank them, stopping the liquid exactly at the center of his throat. The universe survived. But the toxic fire was now trapped inside his body. His temperature spiked to unimaginable levels, burning him alive from the inside out. Panicked, the gods unleashed their entire arsenal. They poured continuous freezing waterfalls of Ganga water over his head. The moon god cast his coldest light. Nothing worked. The radiating heat was so severe that even the permanent glaciers of Mount Kailash began to turn into runoff. Every elemental force they tried evaporated against his skin. The most powerful being in existence was completely helpless against the fire within him. The ultimate remedy didn't come from a celestial vault or a magic spell. It came from an ordinary forest plant on earth, the bel tree. Years earlier, goddess Parvati had endured grueling, thousands of years-long meditation to win Lord Shiva as her husband. She sat completely motionless, on a remote mountaintop, denying herself both food and water. As she pushed her body to its limits, the intense physical toll and her focus caused a single, heavy drop of sweat to form on her forehead and fall into the soil. The ground split open, and from that single droplet of immense devotion, a shoot forcefully emerged. The bel tree was literally grown from the physical essence of the goddess. When the gods placed these specific leaves on Shiva's burning head, the searing heat finally subsided. Only the soothing, grounded feminine energy of Parvati could neutralize the chaotic fire consuming him. Examine the shape of this leaf. It's perfectly balanced, always growing in a cluster of 3. Biologically, Ayurveda recognizes the bel tree for its aggressive natural cooling properties, functioning as a direct medical antidote to extreme heat. But look deeper at those 3 points. They are a map. They represent the Hindu trinity: Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer, all connected by a single stem. They also map the flow of time. They are the fixed realities of the past, the present, and the future. And they map the 3 gunas, the deep psychological forces driving human behavior: harmony, passion, and chaos. Placing this specific leaf on a stone shrine during Shravan is an act of total surrender. You are handing over your past, your flaws, and your ego directly to the divine. How strictly you follow the rules of that surrender is another matter entirely. Consider the legend of Guru Dro, a hunter who found himself hopelessly lost in a dense forest as night fell. With predators circling in the dark, he did the only thing he could. He scrambled up the nearest tall tree and huddled onto a branch, terrified. He knew if he fell asleep, he would fall out of the tree and be eaten. So, to keep his mind sharp, he started blindly plucking leaves from the branches around him and dropping them to the ground below. What he didn't know was the date. It was Shivratri, the most sacred night in the calendar, and because he was trapped in a tree without food or water, he was accidentally holding a strict religious fast. He wasn't chanting mantras. He wasn't asking for enlightenment. His sheer terror had completely erased his ego, forcing him entirely into the present moment. When the morning light finally broke through the canopy, The hunter looked around and realized the tree that had saved his life was a wild bel tree, and directly beneath his branch, hidden in the mud and the roots, sat an ancient, forgotten stone Shiva lingam. All night long, those three-pronged leaves had been fluttering down, perfectly blanketing the shrine. The lore says Lord Shiva appeared right there in the forest. He bypassed the priests, the gold, and the complex rituals, and granted ultimate salvation to a man who didn't even know he was praying. The universe rarely demands perfection. It doesn't require massive wealth or elaborate performances. Sometimes a pure heart and a handful of wild leaves are enough to cool the fires of the cosmos.